Hello and welcome back to Reading with Mo. I know it has been some time since I have uploaded a video onto my booktube channel. I have been reading, but life has just been so chaotic. I have not had a chance to regularly upload for a long time now, but I am trying to get back into this hopefully again this time. So I figured what a good way to warm back up to making videos again would be to do the Midyear Freakout Book Tag. That way I can let you guys know how my reading is going so far this year. I am going to be reviewing the books that I haven't talked to you guys about yet that I've read over the past few months. That will be coming up in a future video. But for today, we'll be answering the questions in the tags. But one question they don't really ask in the tag, but I still wanted to update you guys on, was how you're doing with your Goodreads goal. So for me, I every year set my Goodreads goal to be at 100 books read for the year. Now this year, which I think I have changed a little bit from previous years, I am not counting any DNFs as part of the 100 books I read. So any book that I picked up but I put down and decide I didn't want to finish is not counting. So 100 full books I'm trying to attempt to read this year. How am I doing right now on the challenge? Not too bad. I can be doing better. I believe I'm about 5 books behind schedule right now, which isn't too bad. I feel like I could catch up depending on how the next half of the year goes, just because I have been busy. But yeah, I'm at 41 books read so far in 2024, so that's pretty good. I am 5 books behind and I feel like that's achievable to catch up eventually. So this mid-year freakout challenge is going to be consisting of 13 different questions, so let's just go straight into them now. The first one is the best book that you've read so far in 2024. For me, that book would be Poor Dear by Claire Oshetsky. When I was thinking of what book I would choose for this, I feel like this is the one I just absolutely had to go with. I have not been having the greatest reading year so far. I've been reading some good stuff. I just really haven't been picking up a lot of stuff that I end up loving or thinking that it's going to become like one of my new favorite books of all time. I don't know if it's just me or the stuff that I'm picking up, but this book I really did enjoy. I gave it a 5-star rating and I am very picky with my 5-star ratings. I have not given out many this year. Besides this one, I actually don't even know if I've given out any others, to be honest, this year. But let me also give a disclaimer that while I really enjoyed this book, I could see a lot of people not really liking this book. It does have some like surrealism elements to it. It's not a very long book. It was very quick to get through. I ended up listening to this on audiobook. I don't currently own a physical copy of this book, but I would love to pick one up eventually to keep in my collection and then read it physically and see if I get anything different out of reading it physically than when I listen to it on audiobook. Our main character, Margaret, she feels responsible for the death of one of her friends when she was a kid, and so this kind of manifests itself as a physical deer. I just really enjoyed the writing. I didn't know, like, going into this book, if it would be something that I was going to really enjoy this much. It was one of my anticipated books for the year, but those can always be hit and miss. But fortunately, this was one that actually lived up to my expectations. Next, we have the best sequel you've read so far in 2024. Some of these, I know you're supposed to probably only choose one answer, but I can do whatever I want. It's my channel, so I'm going to choose multiple for a couple of these. I haven't actually read too many sequels though this year. I have 2 I want to mention. The first one is Barchester Towers by Anthony Trollope. That was the second book in the Barsetshire Chronicles series. This book is a continuation in the same 19th century English provincial town, and we're following just like all this little small town politics and drama and things like that. My second one that I would have to choose for this answer would be Blue Like Me, which is the second book in the Trevor Finnegan series, and this is by the author Aaron Philip Clarke. And I can't really say anything about this book because it will definitely give away spoilers for the things that happen in book 1. I read this book physically and I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to potentially other books coming out in this series. There's only 2 books out so far. With the Chronicles of Barsetshire series, I believe there's like 6 books out. My goal is to finish them by the end of the year, so I'm roughly reading 1 every other month. Number 3 is new releases that you haven't read yet but want to. So I pretty much chose 1 book for each month this year that I have not gotten to yet, and so I'll show you guys them here. That would be A Love Song for Ricky Wilde, The Guest, Where Sleeping Girls Lie, which I actually just started the audiobook for this one today, A Letter to the Luminous Deep, The Witches of Bolinas, and Middle of the Night. Question number 4 is my most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I'm still doing some research on the books that are coming out for the rest of the year, so look out for my most anticipated books that are coming out in the next 3 months video soon. But a couple I could mention would be The Lion Women of Tehran. I really enjoyed The Stationery Shop by this author, Marjan Kamali. And the other one I would mention would be a nonfiction book, and that is The Missing Thread by Daisy Dunn. It's a new history of the ancient world through the women who shaped it. Lately, I've really been into a lot of like Greek mythology and stuff like that, so this definitely piqued my interest. Next, question number 5 is the biggest disappointment of 2024, and I have read a few disappointing books. Some of them I've DNF'd, some of them I pushed through and finished, but these are going to be my top 3 books that I read this year that I would not recommend to you guys, that are a waste of time. I did not enjoy, but I did finish them. So the first we have is Midnight on Beacon Street, and then we have One of Us Knows. This book, such a disappointment. I just finished this one. This Wretched Valley would also make, I believe, my top 3 books that were kind of a waste of time. Midnight on Beacon Street and this Wretched Valley, I feel like were just like a waste of time. That's why they were a disappointment to me. But One of Us Knows was really one of my anticipated books for the year. I had high hopes for it, and while I don't think it was a terrible book, it just really didn't live up to the expectations I had in my mind, so it was a disappointment to me. Question number 6 is the biggest surprise of the year. For me, that's going to be Dissolution by CJ Sansom. This book I randomly came across in another booktuber's video, decided to kind of pick it up, and I really enjoyed it. This is a historical mystery, which is not something I have read hardly any of. It is part of a series though, so I'm really excited because now I get to buy the whole series and continue on with it. But I am not like in a super rush to pick up the series because I have so many other books I'm trying to get to, but for sure I will be continuing on with this series. It's the time period that this takes place in, I believe, is like the 1500s it was. Yes, that's right. This is in the 1500s, Tudor England. There's actually an adaptation on Hulu out right now. I have not watched it yet, but I'm really looking forward to it, which is a good segue into the next question, number 7, which is a favorite new author, either debut or new to you. So I've chosen a few for this one. We have Aaron Philip Clarke of the Trevor Finnegan series that I read this year. I'm going to read whatever he comes up with next. Same, I'm going to say for all of these. Claire Oshetsky, I already mentioned Poor Dear, definitely one of my new favorite authors. Then we have Araminta Hall, who wrote One of the Good Guys. And this was a very different mystery book that just kind of felt fresh to me, that I really enjoyed the author's writing. Really want to pick up something else from her, whatever she comes out with next. Celine St. Clair is another one. She wrote Sugar Baby. I really like that one. Anthony Trollope, who I mentioned I'm reading the Chronicles of Barsetshire series from. I haven't read any other series by him, but after I finish this one, I want to pick up some other books by him. And we have CJ Sansom, who I was just talking about as my biggest surprise of the year. It's definitely going to be a lot of books coming into my life by this author. And then lastly, we have Heather Fawcett, who wrote the Encyclopedia of Fairies series that has definitely been very popular here lately on YouTube, and I am definitely in the boat of enjoying that series, so she is an author who's also on the list for me. Number 8 is Newest Fictional Crush. Now, I definitely do not read a lot of romance books, so there was really only one that I could choose for this answer, and that would be Bamblebee from the Encyclopedia of Fairies series. He just seems like very over the top and so particular about like things that, I don't know, I just feel like we would get along pretty well. I don't remember even what he's supposed to like look like from his description in the book, but just how he is and his personality just seems like someone who would be fun to be around. Number 9 is your newest favorite character, and that would be Dr. Matthew Shardlake from the book Dissolution by CJ Sansom. He is just such a unique character that I just love reading from his perspective from, and he's the one who's kind of like trying to solve this mystery that's happening in the book, and I just really liked him as a character. I think he'll be really cool, and I hope that he's done justice in the TV adaptation. Number 10 is a book that made you cry. And for me, I just don't really cry easily in books, and I'm also typically also not picking up a lot of books where there are scenes in it that would cause someone to cry, so I don't have an answer for this one. But ask me about movies and TV shows and it's almost everyone. Okay, number 11 is a book that made you happy. I read a lot of depressing books. I read a lot of books that don't really have a lot of very happy or uplifting themes to them. So this is also a question that's always hard for me to answer, but I am gonna go with The Little Mermaid. Yeah, I'm going with The Little Mermaid and Other Fairy Tales by Hans Christian Andersen. I really enjoyed the edition that I read of this book, produced by Mina Lima. It has a lot of different illustrations and interactive elements to it, and I think also this book is one of the books that I read to my boyfriend to help him fall asleep, so that one has happy memories associated with it. So yeah, I would, I guess, go with that book. Number 12 is the most beautiful book you've bought or received this year. And for me, that is going to be An Englishman in Madrid by Eduardo Mendoza. This is a book I randomly found on the shelves when I was at the Strand bookstore in New York a couple weeks ago, and it's just so pretty. It's my favorite color scheme, pink and black and gold. There's some gold foiling on it. Yeah, this was a complete cover buy. I seen it on the shelves and it just really drew me in, so I'm hoping that the book is as good as it looks. Then last but not least, question number 13 is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? For me, that is my whole TBR shelf, which I will be dropping videos soon describing what this project I have going on is. But to keep it simple, for the sake of answering this question and kind of giving you guys a preview, I have a priority bookshelf going on right now of the books I need to read, and I'll try to angle the camera so that you guys can see. And I do have a plan on how I'm going to tackle that and handle it and why I'm doing this in the first place, but that will be to come in a future video. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for welcoming me back. I'm glad to be back on BookTube and active again. I've definitely been around watching some BookTube, but I have not been participating lately. But I'm glad to be back making videos again, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys in the next one.